I'm going to say something that I never thought I would say on a sports show. I trust Ole Miss's defensive line more than I trust LSU.
Man, look, strange things happen in Baton Rouge.
That's true. What is up, everybody? We got a hell of a guest for you today. Rapper, songwriter, ball knower. All right, talk to him in T-Town. Hung out with down there at Session with him and Hunter Johnson, a couple other guys.
Shout out to Big Hunter.
Yeah, shout out to Hunter. Bubba Sparxx. Bubba, what is up? Dude, we appreciate you.
Bubba.
Hey,
first things on the planes. Are y'all on the planes right now?
No, we're far away from it. We're in Nashville. Yeah. We're in Nashville, home of Vandy, baby, pulling off the.
That's what's up. I'll be in Nashville later tonight.
Hey, well, shoot, you need to let me know something, man. We need to get together. But
sure.
hey,
I love that, man. But what about those Commodores, man?
Bro, that's what I was gonna. That's what I was. You know, Bubba, you keep up with the game like we keep up with it. You've watched it for a long time. We talk about big upsets, man. In my lifetime, that's about as far up there as shocking. What about you? Is that the biggest upset you've ever seen?
The only thing I could compare it to would maybe be the Michigan App State game. Man, but that game pales in comparison to
You don't have to bring that up, Bubba. All right, this is the new biggest upset.
He played at Michigan when they played App State when they lost.
Allegedly. This is the new biggest upset of all time.
No, it really is. I mean, maybe something before, I was born, I don't know. If you go back to like the old glory days of Army and, Newt Rockney and all that stuff, I don't know. But as far as that, since I've been alive, that was unprecedented, man. Shout out to the Vanderbilt Commodores, man.
Expectations, baby.
You can't be bitter about it. You can't hate. I mean, I guess you can if you're an Alabama fan. But as a Georgia fan, I could certainly only salute that. And it's awesome because they have suffered and suffered and suffered. And it's awesome to see them get a moment like that.
Yeah, it was insane. They were leading the whole game, but you just felt like, all right, when's Vandy going to Vandy? Yeah. When's Vandy going to Vandy? And they didn't do it. But, Bubba, I mean, speaking of the game, before we get into the ones that we're picking for this weekend, you were in Tuscaloosa with us, man. That was one of the craziest games that I've ever seen. What are your thoughts right now on kind of where Georgia is after everything that went down in that game and then a week after?
I feel like the dogs are laying in the weeds right now a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I like, especially with the Texas game lurking, next week. I like where we're at. You know what I'm saying? We still are very much a work in progress on both sides of the ball. But I've seen enough to be encouraged, and I feel like we're just that one performance away from putting everything together. And I hope it happens in Austin, Texas. Well, I hope we can, take care of business this week against Mississippi State, of course. And we're not going to overlook that. But I'd love to see that be the mesh performance, so to speak, when we're out in Austin next week. That's going to be a big one.
It is for sure.
Bubba, I just have to say, as somebody from Statesboro, Georgia, man, your song Deliverance was well received and well represented in the early 2000s, brother. I mean, that thing got played before every football game. I just wanted you to know that.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And you're from Statesboro.
I am. I remember the first time I heard that song, I was riding with my buddy Zach Sanders, and that song came on. I almost jumped out the car, man. I was like, this is the type of music that I want to listen to and that I want to make. So shout out to that song, man. Talking about Georgia just quickly here, like, is Georgia still your favorite to win the SEC despite that loss to Alabama, since it seems like everybody is encountering a loss right now?
Yeah, I mean, right now you'd have to say Texas is the favorite, but I'm not. Look, Texas is obviously loaded. Sark's obviously Sark, but they haven't played anything like what I would consider like no disrespect to the Michigan Wolverines, you know what I'm saying? But
thank you.
This definitely isn't to be confused with last year's team for Michigan. There's somewhat of a rebuilding mode, and I'm not sure that Texas has, and even playing Oklahoma this week, I'm just not sure that they've seen like the level of athlete across from them, you know what I'm saying, that they're going to see next week. But who knows, man? The one thing we should have learned so far this year is that expect the unexpected. Like whatever you think is going to happen, pretty much bank on, at least in some instances, the complete opposite happening.
Quinn's got to stay healthy, too.
Well, Bubba, first thing I want to ask you, let's go back to that Georgia-Alabama game. Kirby Smart. I know we keep going back, but I want to know, supposed to get your opinion from it. Kirby Smart, and the week before that, you did have a bye week. Are you worried at all about the way you came out in that game and looked that bad in the first half and then looked that good in the second half? Because usually a Kirby Smart coach team is prepared for a game to start.
It really is. Since Kirby's first year, I would say, since 2016, that was obviously a work in progress type year. But we haven't had, maybe I guess you could say, like the South Carolina game in 19, and then that first game, the COVID year out at Arkansas. We had a pretty miserable first half that game too. But yeah, it's very rare, and I think that, at least from my perspective, I think I just undersold and underscored the true value of Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey. You know what I'm saying? I think Carson Beck has obviously been affected to some degree, to some significant degree, by the fact that he just doesn't have that. That's a heck of a safety blanket. You know what I mean? Having Brock Bowers out there, and even Ladd, man. And I think it's just a different type of team. It's a different, the weapons are different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to learn. It's like you get a new model of a car. You had the Lamborghini this year, and then the next year it comes out and they change where all the, gadgets and stuff are. And I think it's just been a little relearning process as far as that goes, just learning where his strengths are, who's going to be the person that can deliver, when it's crunch time. But and then we got a lot of young guys on defense, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's just not,
y'all are banged up on defense too.
And banged up on the offensive line. We need Tate Ratledge back. I mean, we really do. That was unquestionably our leader this year, you know what I'm saying, on the offensive line. And so I just think there's just been a couple of, and if you watch the film of each game, it's 100% been situations where one person misses a block. One person doesn't hold the block long enough, and that's why I really think that we're not that far from putting together that mesh performance that all of a sudden we're just hitting on all cylinders.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The Georgia everybody expected us to be, but
personnel's still really good.
Well, a wise man once said,
I was shocked about Bama. I'm tired of hearing about the roster. You know what I'm saying? Everybody keeps saying they're 1 through 85, their roster. You still got to go out and make plays, and individuals are going to have to make some plays. And sometimes you can have a lot of good players, but difference makers are difference makers, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to assess who's going to be the difference makers in each class that you sign. You got certain guys that you hope, you think, but it doesn't always turn out that way. And sometimes you can just be left with a bunch of really good players, you know what I'm saying? But you got to have that Ryan Williams type. And he's only 17 years old, by the way.
Somebody said, because everybody's like, Ryan Williams has done this. He's only 17 years old. I saw somebody say Ryan Williams is only 17 years old and he's already lost to Vanderbilt. I thought that was
you see the SEC shorts thing? They were like, that was funny.
Oh, yeah, they're hilarious.
Do a great job, man.
Those people don't miss. They really don't miss.
Man, I don't know how they do what they do. I mean, the detail that shout out to.
It's really good. It is really good.
A wise man once said, legends are made out of vulnerable men. So I think Georgia's going to be fine after that loss.
I agree.
Alabama.
Look at these
All
games,
right, Bubba,
Dave.
we got 5 big games this weekend that we got to pick. Here's how we do it. We're going to go around. Everybody's going to pick their winner. All right, we're going to start with Red River. You alluded to it earlier. This is going to be Texas and Oklahoma in one of the sport's greatest rivalries, neutral site in Dallas. Jake, start us off.
Are we going with like the spread, or are we head up here?
Head up. Straight up.
Pick a winner.
Straight up.
And we got one 5-0 performance so far, I believe. Was that Taylor Hicks?
Yeah, I think
5-0. Okay. All right. So the musicians have been hot so far on the show.
They have.
Jake, you start us off with a
SEC matchup for the first time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. The Red River Shootout. It will always be the Red River Shootout. I know Oklahoma's kind of a sexy pick right now for a lot of people just because of what happened last year. All the hype that they had, that Texas had going into the game, and Dylan Gabriel and them were able to find a way to come back and win. I think Oklahoma's going to fight their ass off. Quinn Ewers' health, they've been saving him up to play in this game. I think he probably could have gone against Mississippi State, but they held him out and then had the bye week. I expect him to be back in full go. I think Oklahoma keeps this game close throughout. I think they may come out and grab a lead. I believe in the Hawkins Jr. kid to be able to run the ball and put them in positions to where they keep that Texas offense off the field. But Sark is going to catch you 3 to 4 times in a game. With his bastardized routes and what he does, he's going to catch you, even a Brent Venables coach defense with Danny Stutzman leading them in the middle. I think Texas is going to find a way to win this game. I think it is going to be a 4-quarter game. I do not think that Texas covers the 14.5, but Quinn Ewers is going to make a play late down the field. Sark's going to have something waiting in the wings, and I don't think Oklahoma makes the drive late to be able to tie the game and send it to overtime. Give me Texas by a touchdown.
All right, Blaine?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Texas, too, as well. I think this game I think Oklahoma will cover, but Quinn Ewers will be the difference in this game. You go back and look like last year's DGs, and Dylan Gabriel's not here to save Oklahoma. Dylan had 115 yards rushing in this game last year, but I do think Hawkins Jr. is going to be able to get out of the pocket, but his throwing ability I don't think will be enough, and the athletes on Texas's defense and the back end, especially the D-line, I like a little bit more. So give me Texas in this football game.
Bubba, you going to go with the Sooners?
Man, I'm tempted to, because part of me really doesn't. It's not that I don't believe in Texas. I know they're loaded, but man, when you get punched in the mouth, it's like a boxer. The first time you get stung, it's the first time you get cut me, Mick.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I know Texas is. I'm with Texas. I'm picking Texas, but I really think that Oklahoma could definitely give them a game. But I still think the game that's going to really stagger them is going to be when the Dogs come to town next week. And I want them undefeated for the Dogs anyway.
Yeah,
okay.
It is. Yeah.
I'll continue to remind people I did take Oklahoma in this game last year, which was one of my better picks. I'm proud of that. Dylan Gabriel, game-winning drive, didn't make a fool out of me. Will not do it again. No, I saw this Texas team up close.
Honestly,
and in person.
Oklahoma really lost to Auburn. I mean, like,
please, you got to explain it to me.
Man, do you want to expound on that? Or?
No, dude, we find a way. We invent ways to lose. Auburn invents ways to lose.
Auburn is definitely the best 2-4 team in the history of college football.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Nobody can 2-4 like Auburn can.
No, and you should be proud of that.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I saw this Texas team, man.
And in the midst of the 2-4, get a commitment from a 5-star quarterback that was previously committed to Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's the most impressive thing.
What do you
think we're hanging on to? This guy, you brought a guy down from Harvard to buy a used Honda.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Shout out to Hugh.
I saw this Texas team up close and in person in Ann Arbor in week 2. I think they're as good as it gets. What I was even more impressed by was not the way they won the football game, but afterwards they just acted like it was just one step on the route to a national championship. I think there's a new energy in Austin right now with Steve Sarkisian, especially when Quinn Ewers is healthy. Let's test his health this week. Let's really see. 95%, 85%, 75%. We're going to find out. I'm going to take Texas close for 2.5 quarters. Then I got Texas kind of pulling away late in this one. Let's go to LSU and Ole Miss, man. This one's a little bit tougher for me. Obviously, Ole Miss won this last year in a shootout when it was in Oxford. Now it's going to be in Baton Rouge, and LSU's coming off a bye week.
I want to pick LSU
Then do it.
in Baton Rouge.
You can.
All right.
You're allowed to.
It's. I like some of the things that Nussmeier does, but I keep coming back to obviously the injuries that LSU's had on the defensive side, but they struggle to tackle in space. And I feel like Ole Miss has guys where even if the vertical game's not working, Jackson Dart with that RPO can hurt you in the intermediate game. In the short game, they can break a couple tackles and go score. I like what Ole Miss has at tight end as well. Not that, Mason Taylor, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the country. But we talked all week about the quarterback matchup. Who do you trust more, Jackson Dart or Garrett Nussmeier? I think both of them will make big plays in this game. I just feel like Nussmeier, whether it's under pressure on a blitz, whether it's making the wrong read on something or overthinking something, is going to make a big mistake late in this game. I like Ole Miss to win. I'm not touching the 3.5. I would take LSU plus 3.5 before I took Ole Miss minus 3.5. But I think Ole Miss finds a way to rally the troops again, go on the road and get another one, and set up what's going to be a massive showdown against Georgia at home. Depending on how this thing plays out in the next couple weeks, that could determine who goes to Atlanta and hangs out with Bubba Sparxx.
Yeah. Blaine, how about you?
That's right.
I just want everybody to know that it's not, if anybody tells you that it's easy to go win at that place in Baton Rouge, I promise you they're lying.
No.
They're lying. I don't care what team you bring down there. LSU and those fans are going to keep them in it for all 4 quarters. And I'm going to say something that I never thought I would say on a sports show. I trust Ole Miss's defensive line more than I trust LSU's. I trust Ole Miss's front 7 more than I trust LSU.
I do too.
And I think that will be the difference. I think LSU will be able to run the football and will make things easier on Jackson Dart. to make plays down the field. I think these things will be a little bit harder for Nuss on that side. So give me Ole Miss. If I'm betting this game, I'm taking Ole Miss money line.
Bubba?
Man, look, strange things happen in Baton Rouge.
That's true.
Is it a night game?
I believe we need to double check.
Yeah,
I can look right now. It's
now.
obviously a big deal. I would guess it would probably be the 2:30.
6:30 game.
It's a 6:30 game.
Oh,
It's going to be rocking.
Oh,
Bubba knows.
Right? Hey, hold that tiger, baby. I'm going
Yeah.
with LSU.
I don't think it's crazy.
No, never.
Man, a week ago, I might have joined you in that one. I think the way Ole Miss responded against South Carolina, I think they're trying to prove to the nation that the loss to Kentucky was an anomaly. I'm going to ride with the Crane boys and take Ole Miss in this one, but let's see.
Well, the thing about this game is everybody complains that Brian Kelly can't win a big game and Lane Kiffin can't win a big game. Well, damn it, someone's going to have to walk.
And I do think the under is a good play in this
I don't think it's a bad play either.
I do think
is it at 63.5?
It's 64.5, 65.5.
Wow.
I don't think that would be a bad play. I don't think these defenses will be phenomenal, but I don't think there's 70 points.
Both teams
You hit the
There's
under
just
in the
something about-
LSU-USC game.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's just something about that stadium down there, just like there's something about that stadium down in Auburn. I don't know
Yeah,
what it
it's
is.
weird, man.
Which
Bermuda
Palace?
Triangle.
Yeah.
All right, man, let's move to the third game. This is Colorado hosting Kansas State, and this one is in here because both teams are 4-1, trying to take a lead in that conference and chase down BYU. I can't believe we're saying that. BYU and Iowa State.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be hard to chase down. They're on bikes.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, guys.
that's true. That's a very salient point, Blaine.
Yeah.
This is the biggest game in the Deion Sanders era at Colorado. Not just because, of their record overall right now, but when you look around the rest of the Big 12, you beat this Kansas State team and you get them at home. The conversation really has to shift to, can Colorado win the Big 12? The Big 12, yes, is down overall, in my opinion, especially with Cam Rising being hurt at Utah. But I don't think Kansas State is the team that a lot of people thought they were going to be this dominant team in the Big 12. It was going to come down to them and Utah and Oklahoma State. Avery's done some good things, but you're going to be walking into a hornet's nest against a Colorado team that I think is getting more confident up front. I like Colorado to cover in this game at +4, +4.5, but I think this game goes into overtime and Kansas State wins it. Avery Johnson makes a big run into overtime to seal it. This could be an all-timer. Colorado seems to do nothing but playing crazy-ass games. So give me Kansas State in overtime to win it and rain a little bit on the prime parade.
Lane?
I really like the over at 56.5 in this
do
game.
too.
I think some points will be scored, but I'm going to go with the team that has the two best players that are going to be on the field.
That's right.
And that's Colorado and Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders. I think those guys late in games at home will be the difference, and they make a play late. I believe Travis Hunter will probably pick a ball off or catch a touchdown over 3 people like he's been doing the entire year. So big win for Prime. Colorado slowly turning into a problem in the Big 12.
Bubba?
Hey, me and Miss Terry, we got Prime's back. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, it's in Boulder, correct?
Yeah.
They got the best player in the country, and they got the best quarterback in the country. I'm going with Prime in the Buffaloes.
Smart.
Man, makes a lot of sense. I mean, not only are they the best players, but they're so reliable in clutch situations. Yeah. Anytime Colorado finds themselves in a close game, which they find themselves in a lot of close games, they win them. That speaks to the mentality that Colorado has. I keep picking against them, and they keep winning.
For Kansas State in the world.
I do too. I do too.
But Kansas State's not that we thought Kansas State was going to be more dominant on the line of scrimmage than what they've been. And if there's one way that you can get to Colorado the quickest, it's up front, it's at the line of scrimmage. Right. That's really how you beat them. But if Kansas State isn't that much better than Colorado, and Colorado's going to punch above their weight at home on the line of scrimmage, I'm still taking Kansas State. But this one to me is a pick 'em.
Yeah,
it really is. But with Colorado's best players, and the best players on the field are going to be wearing black jerseys or whatever color jerseys they end up wearing.
So I'm going to go with Kansas State. I'm going to go with you on this one, but I do so with very little confidence.
Let's go, Bubba. Me and you, dog.
Colorado's win at UCF. That's the most impressive win for Deion Sanders.
Agreed.
Hey, but if Colorado wins this one, not only will they be ranked, all right, they're going to be ranked if they win this one, but they're also going to be climbing up to take a lead.
It's going to be a very
intense. Remember that Utah game in Colorado is at home.
Yes, that's true. All right, let's move on to our fourth game. Tennessee going to host Florida in an old school SEC rivalry a week after losing on the road at Arkansas.
I'm guessing we're going to see a different Tennessee offense at home. I think, obviously Nico's been a lot better at home than he's been on the road. If you're Florida, you understand that Tennessee's going to want to hit explosive plays. You kind of a little bit got more of the puzzle solved than what you would normally get at this point because Tennessee, wants to give themselves confidence. But Florida plays Tennessee well when Florida's back's against the wall. I mean, you look in the past, and this is a game they really get up for. Florida's going to be more confident after beating UCF, and there's a glimmer of hope under Billy Napier because if you win this one, you get Kentucky at home. That's a gettable game the next week. I feel like Tennessee answers. I feel like Tennessee's going to answer the bell here. 15.5 is a lot of points. I actually like the under in this game. I think it's at 56.5 the last time I saw it. The 2-quarterback thing is working at Florida when they play teams they're better than. Going against this Tennessee defense, I think DJ Lagway makes a couple mistakes, but I think Tennessee pushes the envelope offensively, pushes the ball down the field, and finally start attacking that vertical third, and Nico gets his legs going. I like Tennessee.
I mean, you look at Tennessee, better defense. You got Nico at quarterback, Josh Heupel with that scheme. You're at home. It's plus 15.5. Billy Napier's fired. There's a 2-quarterback system at Florida.
Come on.
Give me the Gators.
Oh,
Straight up the Gators.
Yes.
Straight up Gators. Nico's got to show it to me, dog.
Yes.
You have to show it to me on a Saturday. Florida always plays these guys close. It's always weirdly close no matter where the game is. And this Nico hasn't proven it to me yet.
Graham Mertz going to have to go off.
Graham Mertz, I don't want to see DJ Lagway that much if I'm Florida. I think Graham's a guy. I want the veteran in there on the road. Give me them Gators.
Bubba.
Huge win for Billy Napier, but guess what? You're still going to get fired.
We've come so far. Bubba, who you taking?
Had last week not happened with Tennessee, because hey man, shout out to Coach Sam Pittman in Arkansas, but that might have been as big a shock as the Vanderbilt game, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The way they did it, you know what I mean? And I would say if that game hadn't happened, I would probably be leaning towards a Florida upset. But the Vols are gonna boat race them.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, that's just the kind of front runner-ish team they are. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what Tennessee is. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna come back and they're gonna put on an absolute clinic, in their home stadium against an inferior team, and then Tennessee's gonna finish 9-3, 8-4, but they're going to win this.
It's the most Tennessee thing ever.
It'd be kind of similar to what Ole Miss did coming with that loss against Kentucky, going and beating South Carolina up.
I see this game with a lot of similarities with the Ole Miss-South Carolina game, except, and that's why I'm going to take Tennessee to win. I'm not hitting the panic button on them, except I don't see the boat race part of it. I don't know why it's, was it 14.5 now? 15.5. It's staying at 15.5. I don't see that part of it, but hey, let's see how Tennessee bounces back. I'm going to take them to win the football game as well. And that gets us into the last game here, really game of the week. We get to find out a lot more about the Big Ten this weekend. And a big part of that is a matchup we've been talking about all offseason. Oregon hosting the Buckeyes. This is going to be prime time on the West Coast in Eugene. Who are you going to take?
I'm just glad we get to find out, right? Ohio State, we know how talented the roster is. They've looked up and down to me. Who have they really played? But we know they're talented, right? Especially on the defensive end. I don't think we talk about the defense enough for Ohio State. When I look at Oregon, obviously didn't start out the way a lot of us thought, looking dominant with Dylan Gabriel coming in. I thought against Michigan State, they kind of found themselves a little bit, but that's a lot easier to do against Michigan State than it is Ohio State. The problem I have with Ohio State is I don't think they're dominant enough on the offensive line to be able to run the ball consistently against Oregon, and they're gonna Will Howard's going to have to beat Oregon with his arm at some point. And I trust Dylan Gabriel. If the run game for Oregon stymied and the run game for Ohio State stymied, I think Dylan Gabriel can put more points on the board than Will Howard. Not only that, I think Will Howard's got a problem turning the ball over when the coverage is not confusing him, but he has to throw guys open. He struggles to do that on the road at Oregon. Huge game for Dan Lanning. They say he can't win the big one. I think Oregon wins this one. Will Howard throws 2 interceptions.
After 2 years, they say that?
I think Dan finally gets over the hump.
All right, Blaine?
I'm going with the Buckeyes in this football game, and a couple of reasons is this. I do think Oregon is good defensively. I don't think they're that good defensively. I saw Boise State run through them like a wet paper towel, and trust me, the boys about to come Saturday are a lot better than what Boise State has. The weapons, the weapons were everywhere else. And they're pretty good at running back, too. The weapons that Ohio State has, from Jeremiah Smith to Mbuka to Henderson to Junkins, that offensive line playing well. I don't think you're going to have to ask for that much for Will Howard to go win this game. So I think the easier things, I think Will's going to be able to turn around and hand the ball off and get 4 and 5. DG, Dylan's going to have to create. And sooner or later, if you're going to have to create that much, I think you get caught. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Buckeyes are able to run the football a little bit better and pull it out at the end.
Who wins, Bubba?
It's one of those deals. If both teams play their best, Ohio State wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talk about that roster game that y'all like to mention. Like Ohio State's roster is the best roster in the country, in my opinion.
They bought it. Most expensive one.
Hey, that's legal.
No, look, more power to you.
Yeah. If Ole Miss can buy a team, if Ohio State should be able to. Whereas we do it the old school way at Georgia.
Yeah.
I think that with it being at Autzen, I'm gonna go with the Ducks, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Right here.
I definitely
right here.
feel like Ohio State's better. If it was in Columbus, I would, be, assuredly rolling with the Buckeyes. But Dan Lanning's gonna get that marquee win. And the Ducks are going to roll.
Yeah. Well, Bubba, before the season, I had Oregon beating Ohio State, and then Ohio State beating Oregon in the Big Ten championship game when it's
I think you and
Oregon,
Colin Cowherd both.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Colin must have been copying.
Make it 3. I had the same thing, but I'm switching that up today. I would like to see a close football game. I want to see some parity atop the Big Ten right now. There's some Big Ten purists who say, oh, no, the new team's coming into the conference. I want them to struggle. I don't want them to come in and win. I don't care about that at all. I'm just trying to analyze both teams the best I can 6 weeks into the season right now. I'm going to take the Buckeyes, man. I really am. And let's see. Does Will Howard get put in a position where he does have to make plays late in a football game? That could be a good thing for the Buckeyes to go ahead and see that, especially as you're trying to set yourself up to get ready for Big Ten championship play to be able to make the playoff. I'm going to take the Buckeyes right now and probably even take them double digits. 31-21. That's what
Wow. Okay, I like it.
Buy that bad boy up.
So we'll see.
Bubba, you got an album coming out here pretty soon. Can you tell everybody?
Hey, Country Money Legendary.
Let's go. Go.
Yeah, my 9th studio album. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. First one in like 4 years. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it.
Can't wait.
Man,
and also, everybody go check out me and my young artist that I associate with, that make music with. His name's Dusty Lee. We did a collaborative project. It's called Impolite Gentleman, and it's available right now too. Y'all check that out. And yeah, man, I'm gonna be. I tell people if it really bothers you to look at me in my 40s up on stage rapping, wait till you see me in my 70s. Dude,
hey, Bubba, appreciate you taking time, brother. Like I said, it was great to see you in
love,
Tuscaloosa.
Guys. Hey, I'm going to holler at y'all. I live in Nashville, too.
Yeah, let us know, man. Yeah,
man. Let's get a collab. Let's get a feature.
That's I want to come sit in the studio.
Dude, you should. Hey, it's the best one. I tell people all the time. They always come in. They're like, wow, it's amazing. We got to come in and we'll get you in person.
That'll be great, man.
All right. Bubba Sparxxx, you the man.
Thank y'all for having me, guys.
Yes, appreciate it, brother.
Go Dogs.